wait. Roshane is here. Roshane! Yeah. Happy Friday. Hey, everybody. Just getting ready. Getting ready. Thank you, William, for that mic check. Mic check. I see A. Paul is here. It's Simple Sam. Simple Sam is here. He's here early. Amazing. Niemand says they love acid. 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 Mark Decanter says acid. I think he says acid. All the early birds in the chat. Chat's filling up before we even get started. Man, should be getting started very soon. Get some effects on my vocals. Acid never dies. Acid will never die. David. Mushrooms are different. Cosmic J. Acid. Let's do the show. So, sorry about that. Let's get this out of here. Yeah, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Fun Fridays, our Friday party. We get the weekend started today with our stream at 1 p.m. Fridays. Abe Duque here on Production Basics on 343 TV. We are from 343 Labs, a school. Come to our website. Check us out. Maybe you take a class with us. We have classes starting all the time. I'm just getting a class in mixing and mastering started for the end of the month. So if you want to take a class with me online, mixing and mastering, and anybody else, we have so many other talented instructors. John, Dane, all the guys in Berlin, and gals, of course. We are ready to teach you and show you what you need to know about producing, making sounds, mixing, mastering. Well, we cover it all. So come to our website, 343labs.com. Okay. So, yeah, welcome back, everybody. I see everybody was here in the chat before we got started. I was glad to see that. I was very happy to see that, actually. I'm very excited because acid is, well, maybe my favorite thing in whole of electronic music. I started making acid when I bought my 303 in the very early 90s, maybe 91 or something like that, and haven't stopped till now. Well, still haven't stopped. I always talk about acid, and we've been doing a bit of acid on this show already in the last few shows. But you've been responding so well to the acid, so I figured let's just keep on going with it and see where it takes us. Today, let me show you what I brought for you today. I feel like Mr. Rogers here. I brought a couple of machines set up here, and the machine that I really wanted to focus on is this guy over here, which is it's my original TB303 that I bought in 1991 or so. I don't remember exactly what year it was. Might have been 91 or 92. I sometime in the late 90s or mid 90s, I spray painted it black. That's why it's black. No, they never came in black, but I spray painted it black. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a demo on what it sounds like compared to this one, which is currently my favorite version of the TB303, which is the TT303 from Cyclone. I think it's called Cyclone Analogics Bassbot TT303. But let's get that going. I got a kick drum here going on my Ableton Live. Hopefully you can hear that coming through. And this guy was a little bit finicky today. I had to kind of tap it a few times for it to start working. So there's the original 303 going through a lexicon, the same lexicon I've been using the last few weeks, the LXP15 reverb and delay unit. Let's tweak it a little bit. And that's cut off resonance. Here's the envelope mod. Oh, that's one thing I should never turn. I always have a piece of tape on this, which is the tuning. So I should always keep my finger off of that. So I put blue tape, you know, the blue tape crew. Here's an accent. Keep blue tape on there, not to like turn that by mistake. When you're playing live, that's not a good thing to have. Okay, so that's the original 303. So I have the other one here. They're playing together now. I'm gonna tweak down the original and let the TT come through. I don't think I have any effect on it. Let me put the same reverb on it. It's definitely different sounds, but very close. Let's A-B that. Take this one off. Let's bring this one back in. And bring the other one back in. Actually, they're very close, actually. And they're playing nice together. BNDM says they really enjoy these acid sessions. Okay, so it's Acid Mania. And that's all well and good. So let's keep these acid machines here. Now, I know that, you know, getting one of these, the original, is kind of prohibitive right now. I'm lucky to have bought it back in the early 90s, because right now I would never spend the money that they want for this thing. I think they want somewhere above $2,000, maybe $3,000. I haven't really checked the price recently, but this is actually more doable. I don't know. I think it was maybe around $400-500, maybe less. I'd say, let me say around $400 for this thing. And it's totally worth it, because this thing over here has to be synced up with a special sync box, because I need to generate something called Roland DIN sync to get it to work. It doesn't work with regular MIDI timecode. This one works with regular MIDI timecode. But I need, let me see if I can, I kind of had this other camera ready to show off a little bit of what's going on in my studio. And maybe I could bring up that other camera so I could show you where, because I have the sync box somewhere else. Hold on, you'll have to listen a little bit gone here. All right, I don't want that view, I want this view. Okay, so this is my handy cam, and I'm just gonna walk away from this thing. So I'll give you a little view. Over there is my wall of synthesizers. That's where I have all my synths that I play with. I don't really use them on the show. I should bring them in more and use them on the show. Here's some more of the gear and so on. But what I wanted to show you, hold on, is I'm going to go behind here, the desk. And there's this box over here. This box right here. This is a Core KMS30. Hold on, let me get back over here where you could hear me better. That box that you saw was the Core KMS30, and the KMS30, let's change the cameras again. Hold on, turn that upside down and go back to the main. So the Core KMS30 is taking MIDI timecode and converting it to Roland DIN sync, which is what we need to be able to run the original TB303, this one. So it's kind of, if you buy this thing, what you end up having to buy is also the sync box for it. I mean, you could get some newer Roland DIN sync boxes that are made these days. However, I even think like some of the Electron drum machines put out Roland DIN sync. Anyway, somebody says I smell gas. Okay, so anyway, this thing is great. It sounds amazing. It's a big setup because of price and because of, the connection that you have to make. And it's kind of cumbersome to have to put MIDI to the box and then the DIN sync out of the box to the 303 and then get it synced up. This thing will just sync up to any MIDI connection. It's easy to go and cheaper, a lot cheaper, maybe a tenth of the price. So if you want to do acid, I think these days you go with this. You see me always using this, and all my tracks that I've done with acid recently has been this because I rarely like to take this off the shelf and set it up and work with it. And also programming it is kind of a pain a bit. But anyway, what I wanted to do today though was a little bit different. I wanted to work with acid inside of the box in Ableton. I wanted to say, well, what if all I have is Ableton as my DAW, or any other DAW? I mean, you could do this potentially with other DAWs. We could talk about what we're doing, and you could like get that done, say Bitwig or something like that. But how could I build some sort of acid machine that would work somehow like the 303? It wouldn't be exactly the 303. I'll tell you that much right now. It's really hard to get this going. There's a lot of complexity going on in these knobs here and the way that they set up the functions. But I figured we can build a machine or a construct or a rack that would give us a 303 in our Ableton box. So let's see how well we can do this. VNDM says the TT has awesome generative sequence functions. Yeah, I always speak about the randomization that you could do and how you can play the sequencer on the fly. This thing is amazing. So let's get going. Play this again. So let's just mute these guys and get that 808 going there. Now, I took the liberty of writing a few patterns and nothing special, just some patterns that might be used for our 303 machine. I grabbed an analog synth because, well, it has some oscillators that are not perfectly close, but somehow a bit close to the original. So let's play what I have here. So here we have, let's get that kick drum a little down and get that level a little bit higher. And so let's see, let's cycle through a few of these patterns. So William Mindreaders is saying we should get a shape of a saw or a square, and that's right. The 303 originally had two waveforms, so you could, and there was a switch on the back where you could switch between a saw, which is what we have right now, or a square. So that's a square, and that's a saw. So let's put what we have here, and I have this pitch device in here because I programmed them a little too low on my keyboard, and I had to somehow pitch them up, but regardless, that's not that important, this pitch device. Let's put this thing in a group already, or a rack. So if you select it and hit Command G, it'll put it in a rack for you. Now the rack is going to give us macros, and macros are we're going to be working on here. The macros are going to represent, we're going to set up the knobs the way that a 303 would have the knobs, and the 303 has 6 knobs altogether. The problem is that those 6 knobs, well, only 5 of them we're going to use because one of them is tuning, and just like me putting tape on there, I'd rather you save the tuning to do manually whenever you need to tune this thing, because once you tune it, you really don't need to, unless you're into that, like going crazy with the tuning knob while you're playing live. That could be a thing. That could definitely be a thing. All right, so let's see what we have to map. So immediately off the bat, we have to talk about the filter on the 303. So there's a little bit of confusion, and because I was looking through a lot of vlogs and a lot of forums to try to see exactly what the filter of the 303 was, and some people swear it's an 18 dB 3-pole filter. Some people swear it's a 24 dB 4-pole filter. We don't have an 18 dB filter. This one has a 24 dB filter, so we're going to go with the 24 dB filter. So what we're doing now is we're going to map that frequency to the macro 1, because that would be the first knob after the tuning. It would be the first knob on the on that. And let me open up my Ableton a little bigger so that you can maybe see that more than seeing the gear. Okay, so I have the analog in there. I have the frequency knob. Right click, map to macro 1. That's going to be my first macro mapped. I have a controller here, which I am going to be using. I have a nice little section here that I can use to map things out. So I'm going to just start mapping these out to what this is going to be. So this is going to be like my 303. This is actually going to be like my 303 here. So I'll play it. Now I can tweak the frequency. So if you want to follow along with your own Ableton setup, be actually a good thing. There's going to be a lot of tweaking and experimentation with the setup for this, and the way you like it might be, just slightly different than the way that I end up keeping it. But if you get to this point, we could all just have this kind of 303 happening here in one way or another, or quasi 303, because it's really not going to be like these guys. We're going to prepare it, I guess, later, and then we'll see how different it really is. Okay, so the second knob on the 303, second knob that we're going to see on the 303 is going to be resonance. So we're going to right click and map macro 2 to the resonance knob. So now I should be able to, hold on, I didn't map it for some reason. Let's try that again. Oh, right, I didn't MIDI map it. Now I need to MIDI map it. I just macro mapped it. So now let's MIDI map that so that I have that second one here as my resonance knob. So cut off, resonance. Now there's a problem we could already see now. The range of the resonance control here and the filter cutoff control is really high, and it's not going to be helpful for us musically speaking, because if let's just keep the resonance down. And if you don't know what resonance is, let's kind of show you with another filter real quick. If I grab an auto filter, I should be able to show you what resonance is. So resonance is this. It's amplitude at the cutoff. So at the cutoff of the filter, you can make this little ski jump here and get amplitude going. So that's resonance. Okay, so too much resonance is going to be detrimental to our health because it might break your ears. And too little resonance, well, we'll see about that. But when we have the filter closed all the way like this, like we have it now, we basically don't have too much sound coming out of this thing. So we need to fix that. We need to help ourselves with this. So let's turn off the auto filter here, and let's find a position in our filter that's going to work the best. And I think if we compare it to the 303, let's compare it to the actual 303. Let's get one of these 303 going over here. Let's get this one. Let's lower all the knobs. You see that the filter, when it's all the way closed, this one here, the filter, is all the way closed, still lets out some sound. Okay, so let's compare it back to this one here. If I have the filter all the way closed, it basically chokes out all the sound. So what we're going to want to do is like just set it up at a position where we're going to get some sound going out of that. And I'd say, I don't know, we can start at maybe 130, but let's see, let's map it here at just open up our mapping browser here, and let's set a minimum to, say, let's try 200 just to see what that feels like. Let's just type it in, see what that feels like. That means that I'm never going to be able to close it more than that. I can open it all the way, but I can never close it more than that. Okay, that's good. Now with the resonance, it's probably going to be something of an opposite situation, where with resonance I can't go that far because that's going to be detrimental. So what we're going to want is, actually I'm probably going to want to have some resonance going on here, but maybe like 10%, and I'm going to probably want to be able to increase it to about maybe 50%, because more resonance than that is going to give us this too squelchy, too screamy. And I know a lot of people say 303s are screamy. 303s have that sort of screamy feel to it, but what we really want is to save our ears. And this is going to take tweaking. This is going to definitely take tweaking, but we'll use that as a starting point. So let's go to the MIDI map and let's set 10% as the lowest, because we do want it to have some resonance out of the gate already. We want to get a little oomph in that sound. And then on the high side of things, we're going to go to 50. See what happens there. So now tweaking our frequency and resonance. You see, we're able to stay within a good range here. Now, one thing I've activated already that is already making this sound a lot like a 303 is glissando, which is glide. And a little bit of glide is going to go a long way to get that 303 sound. Listen to that. And then I'll turn off the glide. And now with glide, it's that whoop. I'll do a little more so you could hear it. Hear that? That glide up before it just hits the note. That high note we're talking about. See how it goes up? So a little bit of glide, not a bad thing. Now, it would be great if we could do per note gliding. That would be best, I think. That would be the best case scenario. But for now, a little bit of glide to the overall synth is going to get us into that realm, which is what we need to be doing anyway. So, glide, frequency, resonance. Let's try some of these other patterns, see what they look like or sound like. I forgot. So it's very much in that realm now. Like, it's definitely getting there. Let's try another parameter. So the next parameter is going to be, this is the one that I must have spent 2 hours at least trying to research the next parameter. And on the 303, it's called envelope mod. So what do you think when you hear envelope mod? Well, you think that, what envelope are we talking about? Maybe the amp envelope. Now, the amp envelope, what it does is that it makes so that it presents the sound over time according to what the amp envelope is doing. But there is no amp envelope. It's more about maybe the filter envelope. Yes, it's modulating the filter envelope. So how the filter presents over time, but not directly. And that's that's the key, that it's not actually playing with it directly. The last knob before the accent, the fifth knob, is the decay. And that actually deals with the end of the filter mod, where with the filter envelope, where at the end of the filter envelope, we have longer decay of the filter envelope, which kind of works more like a release, but that one's more directly related to the modulation of the envelope. This one here, very strange thing. But let me read what's going on in the chat, and I'll show you what it actually is sort of doing, because I can sort of try to get it going, but not perfectly like the 303. Let's see. William Monreal says, I usually thought those Asset Master achieved the incredible long automations while when I'm tweaking a TB, I find that the range of modulations are kind of small. Thanks for giving me the answers here. Yeah, the range of the modulation is very small. It have to be in order to be subtle, because if you go too far with these modulations, it's gonna hurt your ears, or it's just gonna be too much. Too much is too much. Filter envelope. Yes, there is a filter envelope. So the envelope of how the filter presents over time, meaning how the filter is applied to the sound over time. What is the function of the pitch device? The pitch device, if you weren't listening earlier, was because I wrote these patterns very low on my keyboard for some reason, and I needed to pitch them up so that I could get them into the right range on this. I mean, I actually could fix it by maybe bringing up the octave here and bringing down the octave there. For some reason, I have the octave down there. There's no function to the pitch device, okay? There is no function to that. Let's see, what else is... Okay, yeah, probably just transposing the MIDI, says MIDI mind reader. Yeah, it's just transposing the MIDI for now, just to get us in the right range. Okay, so let's deal with the envelope mod, which is very tricky. So what the envelope mod is actually a secondary kind of filter. Because the filter on the TB303 has two peaks of resonance. So the first peak of resonance is at the cutoff, right? So that one's okay, but after the cutoff, there's another peak of resonance, which is crazy. So we can get this going with a second auto filter here. And this is what makes the 303 bark. They say the 303 barks. So let's set that up. What we'll need is to macro the this filter to macro 3, and this is going to actually be this is going to be the envelope. Believe it or not, it's kind of mislabeled, to tell you the truth. We'll just call this envelope modulator or whatever, but it's not exactly doing an envelope modulation, and as far as it's just modulating the sound of the envelope or its effect on it. So let's get that. I need more space here. Let's get this moved over so we have another peak here, and then that peak here we're going to set somewhere, I'd say 43 to 50 maybe 50%, the same way the other one is set. So it's going to be a secondary peak going on here. So the 303 has two peaks. That's what makes it bark. All right, so let's see how this is affecting this now. Let's map that envelope mod to map it to this knob, and let's tweak it. So it's allowed to go too low. The problem is, once again, it's the ranges. It's the devil's in the details here. The ranges are going to be the big deal here. So what we're going to want is to go from 1K to about 10K with this. That's all we want to be able to do. Because if we go over 10K, it won't scream anymore when it's set to scream. And if we go under 1K, we start to get, we start to lose here. Okay, so let's let's set the ranges there to reflect that. So on the bottom side of things, we want it to go about 1K. And on the top side of things, we don't want it to go more than 10K. And let's see how that works out for us. And let's tweak the other knobs. So that's, see how that changes this to that? Let's get a little more resonance so you could hear it. See the subtleties that you get? I'll turn off the second filter so you can maybe hear a difference. See how it gets that little more bark to it? Let's try another one of these patterns. Maybe another one. So we've got it correctly placed. Oh, we should change this to a PRD. It's a better curve for this. So see the subtlety that you can get between these two now. Let's add a little bit of effect to that. Oh, that's the kick. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty close. I mean, we're in that acid realm. And while this acid is playing, with some reverb, I'm going to let you know that you're watching 343 TV. My name is Abe Duque. I'm here every Friday at 1 p.m. By the way, I won't be here next Friday. I need to take the next Friday off, so I won't be here. Might have somebody covering for me, though. We'll be having Saturday. John Selway has its Saturday techno show. Come tomorrow and see John make some techno. And sometimes we have Tetro Talks on Tuesdays. Anyway, 343 TV comes from 343 Labs, which is a school. We have schools in Berlin and in New York City, and online, of course. Come and check out our website and maybe check out our class schedule. Oh yeah, and don't forget about 343 Studio, which is our dojo for music producers, where you can work out your chops and get better. So visit our website. Anyway, let's get back to the show. All right. So we were working on the 3 knobs so far. We got the 3 knobs, and I think we've got them as close as we can get them from, using an analog. Let's map a couple other things. Specifically, well, I don't know how to binarily, or maybe I can. Hold on, let me try to map the macro to macro 4. No, not macro 4. I'm going to map the wave shape to macro 5. That's where I want. One down here. And I'm going to set a range so that I can only choose between, I'm going to try to set it so that I could only choose between when I map it. So I got to, map it to the controller here. And now that I have that set up there, maybe this will be enough for one and this will be enough for the other. Let's see what happens if I go between those two. Yeah, so I mapped it so that if I turn it all the way to the left, I get a saw. Turn it all the way to the right, I get a square. Saw, square. That's gonna work. I don't want to end up in a sine wave. Sine wave isn't very acidy. And noise is too noisy. Alright, cool. Got that working. So I can switch back and forth between them. See, even when you have these two closed down, this third envelope mod changes the sound of it. That extra peak wanders across. Okay, so let's keep moving. We still have that fourth knob, which is going to be interesting because let's map it already to our controller. And that knob is going to be the actual filter. What it is, it's the filter. For some reason, I can't select it with my mouse. Here we go. The filter decay. So this is the parameter, the filter decay. So I'm going to map that to macro 4 and turn the knob here. And as you can see, it's useful. But again, I have too much of a range. I don't need it to go to 15 seconds. That's ridiculous. There's a point where, let's open it up so we could really hear it. Actually, get it closed a little bit so we can hear it. So at 5, it's too closed. And I think it over a second for sure. Let's do like 300 milliseconds. So let's mini map that to where we filter decay. So let's raise that to about 20 milliseconds, and the height will make about 300 milliseconds to see what that feels like. Let's see. So that's all the way closed in. That's all the way open. Let's play with the other knobs. See? Closed all the way. Open. I might want to open it a little more. Let's see what happens if I open it a little more. This is what I mean by tweaking. You really got to go nuts with the tweaking here. Let's see if I can go a little higher. See, it means nothing. It doesn't really do much. So let's go back to around 300. Maybe even a little less. The tighter you can make your tolerances, the more subtle you could be. Let's see. That's pretty good. Not bad. Let's try another pattern. See how it now does it sound like one of these guys over here? A little. Close, it's in the same ballpark. Let's switch the square. Saw, square. So what else can we map while we got this going on here? Let's start renaming this. This will be my 303 machine. And I'll save it. I got to remember to save this because I'm really taking my time here to build it as well as I can here. Yeah, you're right. It does. You know what? VNDM says it sounds like a 101. Yeah, you know why it sounds like a 101? Because of all the glide that I put on there. So the glide on the 101 is like global to everything. And on the 303, you can get gliding that happens. This sounds like it's happening more to individual notes. And also the part lends itself to be more of a... Take a little bit of that effect off. Okay, so what else can we map here? See if we take off the glide altogether. And maybe we go down one octave. Like I said, it's not perfect, but that sounds a lot like a 303 now. Okay, so let's see. We were trying to map something else. I think a good thing to map is maybe the octave range on this thing. So we can bring the octave down in real time. So let's map it to macro 6 and get that mapped to my controller. And that way I can quickly change the editing. Cannot edit the shape mapping when using push, unfortunately. It shows up in the mapping, but no boxes left. Yeah, you know, push is great, but for sometimes for these little situations, it pays off to have a little controller that that you can, like, you know, just do generic MIDI with. All right, let's get back to the let's listen to the other ones. So this one, these scream a little more. So how can I get this guy to scream more than this is here? Let's see where we have the... Maybe we'll raise the resonance a little bit, the tolerance of the resonance. So let's go to the MIDI map here, and on the resonance, we'll increase that to 60%. And we'll do that on both the resonance of the... So yeah, we don't need to be mapping it. Raise the resonance on this. Let's see how that responds. Yeah, that's a little more screamy. By the way, if you like what you're seeing, could you give me a like? That would be very nice. Okay, so I pretty much got my 303 machine going. I'm going to save this to my presets. It brings it to your user library under presets, and now I have this 303 machine in there. William Mindreader's asking a question. If you set analog as mono with global setting voices, yes, I did set it to mono over here. With if you go to the, I set, and that's a good point. I needed to, we need to tell everybody about that. I guess I did that earlier before we started the show. What I did was make it so that only one note could play at a time, and that is going to be more true to the 303. That all notes, if you had notes that could step on each other, then you'd have 2 notes or 3 notes at the same time, and you really wouldn't want that. So make sure you put this thing in mono. Let's try to write some patterns with it. Let's see if I got this ready to go here. Yeah, I do. All right, let's try to write some patterns. And I'm just going to do it with C notes in 3 octaves. And yeah, it sounds like I'm doing dumb stuff, but I am. But since I have quantizing on, I'll do. Oh, I liked that before. I still want it to scream more than it is screaming. It's screaming a little bit now. Oh yeah, we didn't deal with the accent yet. So accents are going to be hard to deal with because, accents are set on individual notes. And I guess I could probably put some thought into like having how to have certain notes appear more than others, but we could just do that to make more accent on a certain note. And then go to the actual, let me go to the synth itself. And under the amp section, we could increase what the accent does, what the velocity does, as far as then giving it the appearance of having accent, but we can't really map that to an accent knob. I was thinking of trying to do it with the velocity plugin, but still doesn't scream though. Really wanted to scream. Let's add a little more resonance on this one. And it does bark a bit, which is okay. It does have that barky sort of feeling. Switch the waveform. Let's move off to another part of the pattern. See if we can get something else going. Let's go down here. Let's play with accents so that we could have certain notes be more. Yeah, Jacob Rotten says, why not throw some distortion on there? Let's do that. That might equalize things as far as distortion always does. Let's add some distortion. Let's grab that pedal from the Ableton, the new Ableton pedal. And that's gonna. Maybe I grab another pattern. That pattern is making me. Let's try this one. Let's try distortion. See, it's not exactly acid, but it is acid. Yeah, like within my reader says like hard floor. It's not exactly a genuine 303, but it's definitely acid. Add a little more effect on it. Let's try fuzz. Oh, that's nice. Now it's screaming a little bit. Now it's got some bite to it, as Jacob Rotten says. Let's get that kick drum more involved. Yeah, now we're cooking a bit. Yeah, I like this. Try another waveform. Better. Better with the square wave. All right, so we are there. But is it exactly a 303? The 303 itself is such a complex machine. Can't really be that. But one of the keys, and you can keep on tweaking this, and I challenge you all to come up with an analog or Ableton based 303 that sounds better than mine, maybe, or it's tweaked out better than mine. Remember that the secret for the envelope mod is that it has two peaks. There are two peaks in the resonance, and that's what makes it get that barking sound to it. And if you send it to me, I'll present it, and maybe I'll even bring you on the show to talk about how you got your 303 to sound more like a 303. I'd be very happy to do that. So challenge to you all to go out there and build a better 303 than we've built today. I think I did pretty well for just doing this live on the show, but I'd like to see what you could come up with. Let me show you one more thing. I know we're getting down to the end of the show. Let me show you one more thing. I have this. Let me mute the 303 we made, and I have this bass spot. But see the gliding is so much better. It glides just on those certain notes. It's amazing. Because you could put glide on specific notes. That's the problem. I think that's the problem. If you could fix that, that's one of the challenges we have to getting a better sounding 303 from Ableton, is that we can make per note gliding, which should be the case that we could do, like if a device like I don't know if this one does MPE, but a device that does MPE, we should be able to program per note glides pretty easily. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was I have this mofo here, and I'll just show you. I have the mofo has a 303 sound in it, and this is what their take on what a 303 should sound like. And why am I getting the same thing? This is another one of the reasons why I love the TT303 is that it will output the notes that's been programmed into it to an output, the MIDI output into another synth, which will give us the same thing. Now I don't even have to use a quasi 303. I mean, I have a 303 sound already coming from here, and they're a little bit detuned, so let's try to tune them better. That's a little better. But now I can go into program mode here and maybe select another sound. Okay, these are crazy sounds. Okay, weird stuff. Okay, that's a monster. Let me switch the pattern out. Oh, that's pretty cool. So the 303 sound is this, and this is the mofo sound. And together I can have some very interesting acid. Let's tweak the cutoff on this one. Let's add some effect to these. Let's bring in the other 303. See if it's still around. Let's get a pattern that fits with these guys. Yeah, there you go. Put an effect on that. We have 303 Mania here. Let's see if this one that we were working on fits in there too. Ah! I have 303 Mania now. Let's get that kick drum more present. Hope I'm not distorting the whole thing. Yeah. Be a good way to end the show, though. Acid insanity. Wait, I gotta put my voice in. Acid insanity. Acid insanity. Which is the real acid? This one? This one? Okay, I gotta stop. All right, got carried away there. Take that effect off my voice. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for joining me today. Thanks for, putting up with my experiments. I'd like to see what you have going on. So if you can build an acid machine in Ableton, it would be easy enough to just send me the project and I'll open it up in the show, and we might even bring you on the show to talk about how and what you did. I'd love to get you on the show. This is, for me, it's a conversation I have with you guys, and it'd be great to have some of you people come on the show from time to time. We've had already Bill Bancroft on, and I've asked some other people to come on, but some people are shy. But anyway, my name is Abe Duque. I am an instructor at 343 Labs. Come to our website, check it out, maybe take a class with us. If you like what you see, please give me a like, and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to build up the channel. It's growing. It's 26.3K subscribers. We're still growing, and we want to keep on growing. We want to get to 100,000. That'd be an amazing mark to get to. So please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Please visit our website. Take a class with us. This is how we pay the bills. Anyway, see you next Friday, 1 p.m. So that we can... Oh, actually, not next Friday. I forgot. Next Friday, I can't. I have something to do, and I cannot do this and that at the same time. So I'll be here 2 Fridays from now, and we'll see you then. So thank you. Bye.